Welcome back to the Move to Spain podcast, or perhaps you're watching this on the TikTok or YouTube channel. Now, today we have Steve Furman from Sceptre Coaching. Hi, Steve.
Morning, John. Hi, how are you? Or afternoon, even. I'm getting a bit caught
Afternoon,
up with
yeah,
times there.
we're
Must be the
afternoon.
time difference.
Yeah, the time lag of an hour because you're in the.
That's the one, yeah. How are you anyway? You well?
Yeah, yeah, very good. The sun's shining and yeah, just having sun shining, 18, 19 degrees, lovely weather. So the reason we got Steve on is he has Scepter Coaching, which is a fitness business. And I suppose the elephant in the room in the Move to Spain Facebook group and the podcast is we're all getting a bit older. People who move to Spain tend to be a bit older, but there are those on the digital nomad visa who are a bit younger. And I think we all have to think about keeping fit and exercise. And it's just one of those things that we have to do, isn't it?
Well, that's it, yeah. First of all, let me just thank you for having me on today. I really appreciate your time. Bit about me, obviously, as you said, I'm Steve. I'm a 50-year-old, so recently just gone 50 this year. So right within your target audience, so I can appreciate all the aches and pains that everybody who will be watching and listening to this will appreciate. So yeah, as regards exercise and fitness, it comes under many different headings, but obviously the three main things that I look at are obviously the exercises themselves and how to do the exercises. Then you've got your nutrition on top of that. And then there's obviously the mindset that goes along with that as well. And that's quite important. And I mean, obviously the mindset encompasses many different aspects of just actually getting up off the settee, off the couch, and actually thinking about doing some exercise. So yeah, and within my little business, I'm an online business, so all of your expatriates coming from all over the globe can access my services such that it is, and if they ever wish to do so. But yeah, as we're getting older, obviously, as I'm sure you and I both appreciate, as with a lot of other people, you do get more aches and pains. It's how you deal with them moving forward.
Hmm.
So the main thing for me, why I started this, and especially at my age, is that I got injured and ultimately doctors were no help and I ended up fixing myself. And that was through lifting the weight, as you can see behind me,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
going to the gym. So, and that was how I actually fixed myself. And then off the back of that, I then created my business because I see the value in obviously exercising every day. And the most beneficial way for me to do this myself and what I tell all my clients, the most time efficient way to do it is actually in the gym lifting weights. So I don't know if you know this, but the biggest precursor for longevity is actually lean muscle mass.
all
It's now
right.
been proven to be linked to all the longevity and vitality statistics that you can care and go and find. Lifting weights to put lean muscle mass on your body is the best way to live a longer, healthier, more active life. So it
Right.
doesn't matter whether you like to go walking. I'm sure people in your Facebook group, obviously living in Spain as they do, weather's a lot better than what it is in the UK. So I presume hiking will be a
Yeah,
main
yeah,
pastime for a lot of people. Cycling as well, I would imagine. As you
yeah.
know, I'm a keen mountain bike. I know you're a keen cyclist, John. So yeah, and it all plays into that lifestyle attitude of what people like to do. A lot of people think the gym, if you go to the gym, it's the be all and end all, and that's not the case. I spend about 2 to 3 hours a week training, and that's it, literally.
When you mean training, you mean lifting weights?
Yeah, lifting weights. So yeah, yeah. So I'll do 3 sessions a week, actually in the gym here. Lifting weights. Obviously, I write my own programs for myself as well as do for the clients, and that's all it takes. And people seem to think that yeah, you got to be a gym buddy, you got to live in the gym. It's not the case at all.
Right.
So yeah,
So you can help people online and in person because you have your own gym.
yeah.
You
Well,
just make-
obviously. I think more so for this conversation. Yeah, obviously it's going to be online. It'll be
Yeah.
quite a commute to me to come and see somebody down in Torremolinos or Benalmadena.
Or someone,
We do
yeah.
a one-to-one, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, obviously back home where I'm in the UK, yeah, I do one-to-one sessions in my facility here. But I'm looking at pushing the online side of my business as
So if
well.
you've
So.
got, say, for example, you've got someone in the 50s, let's say mid 50s, you've got someone in the mid 50s, and they're thinking about moving to Spain, and I think things coincide. Maybe they've got a semi-physical job, maybe they've got a physical job in England, and they're thinking, or America or wherever, and they're thinking of stopping that physical job, and then they're moving to Spain, and they're thinking, well, what do what do I need to do? What would be the starting point for them? What can you do for them?
Well, as I'm sure you can appreciate, we're all as individual as our own thumbprint. But to generalize, the main thing that people can do is join their local gym. But equally, there's a lot you can do at home as well. So I have a few clients who do home workouts.
Right.
Now, some of those workouts use resistance bands, for example. Some of the workouts use just body weight exercises. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, you don't have to go and join a gym per se, because I know a lot of people will be quite intimidated by it. And obviously, thinking specifically, this is why, in the context of where you guys are in Spain, it's why the gym, actually going and working out in a gym, would be a really good idea. And again, the main reason for that is obviously given the temperatures that you're in.
Yeah.
So, for argument's sake, over in the UK, somebody would go out for a run like today. It's 6 degrees. Thankfully, the sun's out. But again, for doing cardio outside, it's quite a nice temperature. You get wrapped up a little bit and you soon warm up. Now, obviously, for somebody doing cardio in Spain, temperatures are a lot higher, and especially given that their age, they could have health complications. That's not possibly the best idea for them to go and do. So going to the gym would be the most time efficient way for them to go and do that and follow a structured plan. So when they walk in the gym, they know exactly what they're doing. And that way, then they get the most, as I say, bang for buck out
Mm.
of their time that they allotted. Because, like I say, you don't want to spend all day in the gym.
Right.
So that would be the most obvious way to do it. But then, coupled in behind that, you then got to think about your nutrition, which obviously is very important as well.
Right.
So, like you said, somebody might have a concern where they come from a relatively active job. I don't know, there could have been a manual labour or something like that, and thinking, oh, well, I'm going to retire now. And what happens when they
Yeah.
retire? People start sitting about, become more sedentary, which is
Yeah.
not good for your long-term health, obviously, as we know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, um, that would be a concern. And getting in the gym is a good way to do it because, especially if you're, again, as we're all getting older, um,
Mm.
we know that as we age, our metabolism slows down,
Yeah.
and the typical scenario is that you start putting a bit more body fat on. Now, the best way to keep body fat down and to lose body fat is lean muscle mass.
Right.
And the reason being for this is because the more lean muscle mass that you have on your body, the bigger the calorific deficit is all the time, 24 hours a day. So basically, it takes more calories to maintain that muscle than it
All
does
right.
fat.
So you can eat more.
Basically, yeah. Well, again, I have clients, some of their main reason is they don't. I mean, again, when you talk about going in the gym, everybody thinks, oh, I don't want to look like Arnie. That's the first thing, the amount of
Yeah.
people that I get like that, and
Yeah.
particularly women as well, who think, oh, I'm going to train in the gym, I'm going to put some muscle on, I'm going to look like a female bodybuilder. This is not the case. It is such an important, even more so for women, facet of their life. If they can actually start lifting and doing heavy resistance training just for the health of their life and longevity in general. And yeah, so when you look at lean muscle mass, you can eat more. So because you've got a greater calorie burn, and it actually burns more fat because um, a pound of fat burns 4 calories an hour.
All right.
Muscle burns 9 calories.
Oh, so more than double.
It's more than double. So it's
Well, you
about
heard it here on the Move to
half
Save
mass.
podcast.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if you think you might spend 2 or 3 hours a week in the gym, but say in one day you go to train at the gym for 1 hour, there's another 23 hours in everybody's day, even
Mm,
when you're asleep.
mm,
The more muscle that you carry on your frame, the better it is for you losing weight. And a lot of people think, oh, well, I want to lose some weight. I'll go for a run. Well, that's all well and good if you like running, but a lot of people don't like running. I
mm.
mean, we were out walking the dog this morning. There was a poor lady again, pretty much in that mindset. Um, you could tell she was a little bit overweight, didn't like running. You could see it on her face. She was running around the park. And again, for her, she would be much better lifting weights either at home, following a program at home, or going to the gym and following a program
Right.
because she would lose weight faster and probably be able to eat more food.
Right. Well, that's interesting. So you
Yeah.
would help people with um, like a workout program that they wanted, and you would help them with the diet they should follow.
Yeah, well, as part of my coaching business, I have different programs that I send out to people, and everybody is different. So people often ask me, one question I get asked quite a lot is, oh, so what do you eat in a day? And then I can replicate what you eat. Well, as I said before, every one person is different. There is no one size fits all.
Right.
So depending on how old you are, how big you are, what your BMI is, excuse me, what your activity level is like, everybody is different. So there's not one size fits all. If we're going to generalize, the biggest problem with everybody where nutrition is concerned is consumption. And that's what I help a lot of people with. I had one client last year, one lady, she came to me. So she said, I want to get ready. I've got a 50th birthday I'm going to Mexico in 3 months. Can you help me? I said, well, what do you want to try and achieve? I just want to lose some weight. Okay. Typical, the amount of time that you hear this most of the time. So in 3 months, she lost, I think it was about let me guess, 16 pounds she lost in 3 months. And
Right.
she was up the moon. Now, that lady, I doubled her food intake every single day. Now, straight away, I can tell from your reaction because it's the reaction that I always get.
Well,
And
that's
it's quite
it.
a common problem because people starve themselves. But what happens is that your body is the master of adaptation. So if you don't put the fuel in at the top,
Yeah.
it goes back into flight or flight mode.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
right, you're not
Heard that.
feeding me. So every little bit of food that I get, I'm going to hang on to. And it
Yeah.
starts fat because it doesn't know when it's going to get fed again. And
Yeah. I
this is
have
one of
heard
the
that.
biggest mistakes I see people making.
Right. So if we take that example of a lady that's a little bit older, let's say she's 55 as well, and she's come to the conclusion that she's a bit overweight, and obviously she's accepted that, and she's off running. Then the point you're making is don't necessarily do that. A, you don't like it. B, it's not really that good for you. And C, you should be lifting some weights.
Correct, yeah. Well, there's any amount of things. Obviously, if you like running, go running. If you like cycling, go cycling. Yeah, anything is better than nothing. The best bit of fitness advice I've ever heard, and everybody always laughs at this one, was Joan Collins. And I remember years ago, I was watching an interview with Joan Collins. She said, the best bit of advice I can give anybody is just get up and do 10 minutes. She said, oh, it doesn't matter if it's only 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Just get up and do 10 minutes. And it's
Yeah.
true. Just get up and do something. So, yeah, but we're all busy. You're busy, I'm busy, everybody's busy.
Yeah.
And you all want to be doing something else. Even if you're retired, there's always something else better to be doing. So you've got to be efficient with your time.
Right.
Got to look at what time you've got to do the exercise. And that's where weight training is the best. If you want to lose weight, put on some strength and increase your mobility and just your general overall health, it's the best way to do it. Using the run example, if you've got a lady 55 or a man 55 anyway, let's stop picking on the ladies. You've got a man 55, yeah, and he wants to lose some weight. You think, right, I'm going to go running. Lots of people go running. But if he's 3 stone overweight, the first problem he's going to have is impacting on his joints.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be efficient. So he could, in effect, cause himself in more problem. He could get injured. And then all of a sudden, his progress will halt because he gets injured. Where if you go into the gym, you can still do your cardio. So you could go on a, you can go for a walk outside even, or in the gym, you could go on any amount of cardio piece of equipment.
Mm.
Or you could go for a ride on your bike to get your cardio in,
Yeah.
to get a side of it from the running, because cardio is good for your heart. We all know that.
I suppose here a lot of people are going to have access to their own swimming pool, which isn't a big deal here. They can have
Correct.
access to
Yeah.
the communal pool, the sea. So
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah. I mean, again, I don't think in terms like that because I'm not, I mean, the thought of having a outdoor swimming pool in the UK doesn't
yeah, can you
exactly
imagine?
resonate with me at the minute. But
Yeah,
yeah, you're right. So they could go swimming, whatever. But then, coupled on top of that, if they went and did some strength training, it would be a better way for them and a faster way, probably, for them to lose weight and a
right.
safer way so they didn't get injured. So yeah,
Mm.
it makes a lot more sense.
What about people who say like, "Oh, I've got a dog and I do my 10,000 steps." Are they just kidding themselves?
In reality, yes.
Yeah,
Walking is good and your 10,000 steps is great. But where you see all these influencers and people in the media saying, "Oh, do your 10,000 steps," and it is, and any movement is good. Yes, it is a good place to start. But be under no illusion. If you think that it's going to drop weight off you, it won't. I mean, for example, I do more than 10,000 steps every single day. And if I want to, I can put weight on no problem.
yeah. I think I'm the same. I walk the
It's,
dog
yeah.
on my
And
phone. I'm
it,
averaging 10,000 because it tells me, even if I don't want it to, it tells me. Just got an
yeah.
iWatch and it keeps telling me I'm having a workout when I'm walking the dog. But so that,
But
so if you think you're sort of the right weight and you're doing your 10,000 steps and, it's up and down and even then you should be really lifting some weights as well.
there's the health benefits alone, yeah, to lifting weights because the impact on it, it's good for bone health. As you age, I think there's this statistic over people over 50 are more prone. I can't remember the exact statistics, but it's something like 50, no, it's 50% of the people over 65. Sorry, that's it. I'm getting confused. 50% of the people over 65 will at some point have a fall and break either a knee or a hip, is the
Yeah.
common one.
Yeah.
So if you think that's as a statistic, now 30% of those people will never ever recover their pre-fall mobility and function back.
Right.
It just won't ever get it back. And out of those 30%, another 30% of the 30% will die from that injury.
Right. So it's quite serious
Which
then.
is
Yeah.
it's quite a serious statistic, yeah. So, and again, this is where the building lean muscle comes in because if you think of just simply getting out of a chair, if you've
Yeah.
got no muscle to power through your legs to power you up out of a chair, and even to balance, if you think about balancing on one leg, I mean, if I got you just to stand up now and balance on one leg and see how much you wobbled all over, the less muscle you've got, the less control you've got of your
Yeah.
body. Obviously,
Yeah. Oh.
makes sense.
So following on from lifting weights, like I say, I mean, a lot of people would be freaked out just to join the gym. I mean, obviously, if they're in the north of England in person, they can come and see you. Um, that's not a problem. But what would be the first step for someone who didn't want to go to the gym? Could they go out and buy one of those multi gyms? Because I can imagine if I'm making movements now, people who are on the podcast, but if I'm lifting weights above my head, which I do not, but if I did, I'd think, good God, I'm going to drop this on me, and I should have a multi gym. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's any amount of different things. I mean, obviously, you can probably see from our video feed behind me, I've got a selection of kettlebells just over my left shoulder
Yeah, them
there,
are the
just
small.
over
Yeah,
there.
those are like
Now,
a ball with a handle on.
yeah, it's a Russian invention, but yeah, it's just a big, heavy piece of steel, basically. Like most gym equipment is, it's just lifting heavy things. But yeah, so somebody at home, you can do various different home workout ideas, so you don't have to go to the gym. So you can do a very effective body weight workout. I could give somebody a body weight workout, and I do a lot of body weight training myself, and that is very effective. That is still resistance training. If you think I mean, I sit here now and I weigh 85 kilos. I don't know what you weigh, John, but you're probably somewhere about similar because I know you're a bit taller
No,
than
no,
me.
I weigh 80.8.
Oh, well, there you go. So you're even lighter than me. So, but yeah, so if you think about moving 80 kilos about,
Yeah,
that's quite a lot of weight.
yeah.
And
I
there's
mean,
any amount of
well,
different techniques to
it's like four
make
bags of
using,
cement, isn't it?
yeah, well,
That's why I
probably more than
measure it.
that. Yeah. So there's any amount of different techniques. So that's one. You can use bands, resistance bands, as long as short resistance bands. You could buy yourself a multi-gym. You could buy yourself some dumbbells and a barbell set at home.
But the barbell
Um,
set, couldn't that be a bit dangerous if you're on your own? Is that the way to go? What do you think about
it
that?
It could be, but again, you can buy like I'm sat on a bench there, so you could buy yourself just a cheap bench. There's loads of free equipment available. Again, I mean, I'll talk about Facebook Marketplace. If
Yeah,
anybody goes on Facebook Marketplace, there's loads of things you can see there, and it's all about being sensible. Yeah, you're not going to go and start deadlifting 150 kilos or doing Olympic lifts above your head. A beginner has to start. There's a certain
yeah,
progression
yeah.
that you have to make. So you just don't go in at the deep
Right.
end
So,
all that.
so the person like my initial thought would be, don't buy any what you call them free weights because you might drop them on yourself. But that's and go for like a multi gym. But what you're saying is there's loads of other things you can do. You don't even need
Yeah,
it.
you can go and buy a multi gym. I mean, there's loads of good pieces of multi kit out there that the multi-function trainers that do many different exercises on one piece of equipment. That's one way you can go. They tend to be quite expensive. Again, if somebody just wanted to think, oh well, I'm not really sure. I don't know if I'm not sure about this weightlifting. Like it's might
Yeah.
not be for me. You can just go and buy some dumbbells. So literally, I mean, I quite like. I keep going on about the kettlebells over my left shoulder there, but the kettlebells are really quite ineffective. You can get three or four kettlebells and you can have a full body workout and
Right. Well,
it's
that's interesting.
unbelievably
I'd never have thought
effective.
of that.
It's that simple.
Right.
So
So, so what was the name of the business again? Sceptre Coaching.
so my business is Sceptre Coaching that I've set up.
And
So
is it .com or .co.uk or
it's sceptercoaching.co.uk. So yeah, I'm on Instagram. Not so much on Facebook at the minute, and I have my own website as well.
right?
Uh,
Well,
but
you can send me all the links and I can put them in
Yeah,
the
well, I've got sign up links for the different. So I have a 12-week flagship program that people could sign up to. I can do bespoke again, packages for people. So depending on where they're at. So say if somebody who's a bit more their training age, as we call it. So somebody's a little bit more experienced, but they might know how to go on in the gym, but they decided they want to do some body weight training, which calisthenics it's called, at
Hmm.
home. Yeah, I can help with that because I quite like doing that myself, to be quite honest. So yeah, and I have nutrition audits and then I do bespoke programs for people as well. So
So you're in North Yorkshire, but do you go and see people as well, or is it just in your own private gym?
no, it's literally in my own private facility at home. So yeah, I've built this purely for that reason. And again with the online because the nature of exactly what we're doing now, we're sat talking to each other,
Yeah,
a plane journey away. And that's how I tend to converse with a lot of
yeah.
my clients.
Yeah. And there's the obvious
In
things about coming from a cold climate to somewhere like Spain is you've got to use your intelligence and in the summer you're going to be getting out of bed early. You're not going to be trying to
Well,
do
exactly. Yeah. I mean, again, it's not so much an issue for me being in the UK, but yeah, it's more so you would train early in the morning because given the heat elements. But again, training in the heat with a bit of common sense can be very, very beneficial. I mean, if you look at all the boxers, they always go to a hot training camp and they train at altitude to make it harder. So again, if you were that more trained individual, you could
Hmm.
get more out of your training just using that as a different training stimulus. So it's very dependent on the individual and where they're at and what they want to achieve. So, and that goes hand in hand with the nutrition. So it's like the old adage say, you can't out train a bad diet.
Right.
So
So
if you're in the gym for 3 hours every week, but then going to McDonald's,
yeah.
it's never going to
I
work.
mean, thankfully here
Equally,
it's actually cheaper to go to a restaurant. That's one of the things in Spain.
well,
It's
yeah,
actually
well,
cheaper to go to a restaurant than it is to go to McDonald's. It's nuts. But that so one of the questions that people are going to ask is red wine good for you?
it depends. I have mixed feelings on all of this where food's concerned. Personally speaking, I don't think there's such a thing as anything bad to eat or drink. That's not the issue. The issue is consumption.
It's not how much you have of it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So let's take water, for example. If you go and drink 10 litres of water, that's not good for you. It's going to do your body harm. But
Mm.
equally, we all know very obviously that we need water to
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah.
So it's you go right from McDonald's on one side to super duper healthy on the other. And yeah, you can eat healthy food, so avocado, nuts,
Mm.
things such as those, all very, very healthy. The nutrient dense, healthy foods, but very calorific. So
Mm.
if you eat lots of them thinking you're doing great, oh,
Yeah.
I'm eating healthy food, I'm great, I'm sorted.
Yeah.
Well, no, you're still going to put weight on because a calorie is a calorie and your body doesn't say any different.
What about olive oil then? I mean, that's something that everyone has a lot of here. It's in everything.
Well, again, it's about consumption. I mean, yeah, we use olive oil at home, different to, I mean, I don't think it's such an issue in Spain, is it? I think they're just more, the Europeans, particularly in the Mediterranean, just more healthy anyway in that respect
Well,
to
there's more,
oil.
yeah, there's less. I've noticed here, I mean, it might just be me, but I've noticed here that it's processed foods are not as common compared to
Yeah,
like in
that's,
England. I mean, I don't know about
yeah,
everything
well,
else.
I mean, it's rife in England, unfortunately, which
Yeah.
is a shame, but
I mean, here
yeah.
it's much
Um,
more like natural products.
yeah,
You
and
know,
the
it's
same
not
thing
unusual.
applies. Use common sense and consumption. Don't smother everything in olive oil because no, it's not good for you. But a small
Yeah.
amount of it is. It's like everything. So yeah, just
Oh,
be sensible.
right. Okay. Well, that's been very interesting. Like I say, if you need to get fit and get healthier, you can contact Steve, and I'll put the links under the video and the notes in the podcast. And if you're still in England, you can get in touch with him, and you can go and see him in person in,
Yeah, anybody who's local.
if they're local. Yeah. Well, what's the weather forecast for this week then? Is it in North Yorkshire?
Well, today, I mean, I'm sat obviously in the studio at the minute, and when I walked in here, it was actually not too bad. It's warmed up a little bit. I think it's about 7 degrees today, but the weekend's been typically English and horrendous, blowing a gale,
Right.
raining. So today has been a nice, a welcome change, and hopefully spring, fingers crossed. We're
Yeah.
hoping it might have sprung, but yeah, we'll wait and see. So, because
Right.
it's still February and not March, and as sure as you will only too well remember that, yeah,
That's
it
why
can
I'm in
change
Spain.
on
People
a
ask me, why did you pick
exactly
Spain? You
change
know,
on a moment's
like
notice. So,
99% was the climate. 99% was the climate. Oh, well, okay. Well, thanks, Steve, for coming on. I'm sure
no
we'll
problem. Thank
see
you for having
you
me.
again because maybe we can just do one on food because there's just so much to talk about, isn't there?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, I've glossed over in very simplistic terms a lot of wide and varied subjects. And yeah, you can go a lot more deeper into, I mean, nutrition particularly is one I'm quite interested in, but even the exercises. But yeah, if anybody's got any comments or if they want any specific help, we can do a couple more of these if you wanted to. And even if people wanted to send questions in that they want specifically answering, we could do
Yeah. Yeah.
a question and answer session.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
yeah, other
yeah,
than
if
that.
you have got questions, send them to business@justlawsolicitors.com and we'll save them up and then we'll get Stephen back on and we'll see if we have an answer. I'm sure you will.
Well, yeah, there's always an answer to everything, isn't there? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's the right one or it's the answer that people like, that's normally the issue I have, to be fair. It's amazing how many people, when I tell them what I do for, you mentioned personal training, it's like, ooh, when there's a sharp intake of breath and they take 2 steps back, it's all I'm missing is the cross and a bit of garlic.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on then, and we'll see you next time.
Cool. Thanks a lot, John. Take care.
Bye. Bye.
Bye bye.